Milsurp Garage. All right, we're here with the Colt Combat Commander. Obviously a 1911 pistol, which is single action semi-auto, magazine fed, recoil operated, based on John M. Browning's design. M 1911. What sets this one apart? It's the first mass-produced American pistol with an aluminum alloy frame, and it was the first Colt pistol to be chambered in 9mm. This one has neither an alloy frame nor is it chambered in 9mm. It's chambered in 45 ACP. So obviously there's some stuff going on. Let's find out its history. So back when World War II ended, this was our gun, the 1911. Perfect gun, absolutely perfect gun. But if anyone was to say anything about it in critiquing it, say from military perspective, coming out of World War II, and you want to have a pistol to move on into the future, you might think that this might be a little snout heavy here, just a little bit nose heavy. You wouldn't want to say that to a 1911 purist, but it definitely could have dealt with being made a little bit lighter, a little bit smaller. And well, the government's requirements for this pistol, they had a trial, okay? And the requirements in 1949 were that it had to be chambered for 9mm. They wanted 9mm. It could not exceed 7 inches in length or weigh more than 25 ounces. Now, to Colt, that was no big deal. They had been messing with lightweight stuff, you know, like with the Colt Cobra revolvers, and making all types of guns in all different sizes, and like they were into that type of innovation. If you look at Colt's past stuff, they were constantly make large frame, short frame, long barrels, short barrels. They'd mess around like crazy, and you know, they were very smart about what they did, coming up with this, because if size was your only issue, let's say, you could get even radical here. This is by Detonics. If you really wanted to get small, you could go crazy and do something like this. That wasn't the point. The point wasn't to make it as small as possible. The point wasn't even to make it as light as possible. Colt, in their infinite wisdom, they really did the right thing with the modifications that they did to try to bring it up to these specs for the military trial. So much so, they didn't even wait for approval from the military. They just released this thing in 1950. They just moved it into regular production. It was the first aluminum-framed, large-frame pistol in major production, and the first Colt to be chambered in 9mm. And they were very successful with it. Very successful. And so where does this guy come in, being that it doesn't have either of those two things? Well, the 45 caliber in the 1911 was hugely popular. So that wasn't going anywhere. So Colt, right away in 1950, they released it in 45 as well. So they released it in 45, in 9mm 45, 38 Super, and some of them in 30 caliber Luger that were exported for overseas export. And so 45 caliber was around right from the very beginning, in 1950. But what Colt people started to do was they would take this shorter slide, right? Colt fans, they're pretty slick. It's been several instances of these types of things going on before, and you know, this all kind of carries through over to the, you know, once you have a standardized design where everything fits, even the Glock people were guilty of doing this, switching slides with different frames, but people were taking this shorter slide and putting it on the all steel frame to just make a more compact all steel pistol. You know, it was like a trick. But Colt, they were not having any of that. They were not going to allow that to happen without them making some money for it. So in 1970, they created the Colt Combat Commander, and they made the regular Colt Commander, they turned into the lightweight Commander. So the one with the alloy frame was the lightweight Commander, and in 1970 they introduced the Combat Commander. That's where this guy came in. As I said, this is a 79. 79 is a big year for me as far as with my collection. My high powers are 79, my Pythons are 79, my Troopers are 79. Seems like I'm drawn to that year somehow, just you know, by who knows what, by fate. But this guy, I could not say no. I had my eyes on different ones all the time, and this is, we're gonna get into it. This is by no means stock, so don't think that if you go get one it's gonna look like this. This is a Frankenstein one, but the guy that did the modifications on this thing, whoever like did this or whatever, several people just through the years, it just kind of I don't know, it just kind of worked out for me. Something about it just really grabbed me. So yeah, what else do we have here though? I want to make sure, I mean, do we just end the history there? How much more has it been through? I mean, they still make it to this day, so you know, guess that's about it. The only other thing to talk about that we'll mess with, because we're going to be looking at it, is the difference between Series 70 and Series 80. This is like a thing that's like, seems to be so much about it online that I don't need to like sit there and make like a separate video about it, but we'll discuss that a little bit. But let's just get into, now that you know a little bit of the history, let me just tell you about this guy specifically. And so far, what I know isn't stock, and you know, just little idiosyncrasies, things I've done to it so far, this and that. So when I bought it, it became apparent that this was not the original barrel, because it says Ed Brown 45 ACP, and it also says Brown on the barrel bushing. So I knew this was an aftermarket barrel and bushing, but this Ed Brown stuff is no joke. If anything, that's a selling point. Since I'm not going for originality here, having cool, you know, solid aftermarket parts is a good thing. Now, obviously, this slide release, safety, grip safety, beaver tail, mainspring housing here is obviously aftermarket just from the color. It's supposed to have the rounded mainspring housing on here, but it was replaced. This guy replaced it with the flat one, which I do like better. And this beaver tail is nice, how it comes way up here to prevent any kind of hammer bite. That hammer, not sure if it's stock or not. I'm thinking maybe not. But definitely has some nice bite to it there with this cross hatching. It's pretty cool. Now it came with this mag, okay, which is just there's absolutely no markings of any kind on this thing. It's a good quality mag, and it works. But I thought, just because this look right here is a little, it's a little off, that whole, you know, tricolor look, and I figured, I had these laying around. I pulled these out of a drawer. I had forgotten all about these. I had bought these. They're Ruger mags. You could see that the remnants of the Ruger thing there, but they're milled off of them. There's 5 of these. I bought them once. I don't remember if it was eBay or where it was. But, you know, you never know if these are like factory blems. I think that's what it says on the ad. But who knows? Somebody at Ruger, someone that works for Ruger, taking them home and doing that to them. I mean, who knows? But these are some quality magazines. They really are. And what's cool about these This is all I wanted. See, now I have matching straight through. You gotta love that. I don't know if this is stock. It's not grip tape. It's actually stippled. I don't know if that's a process that somebody did. I don't think it comes that way, but man, does that offer superior grip. And I don't know, there's a little of that up here. The top of the barrel, I don't know what's going on there. These sights, I've never seen one with this front sight on it. This little red insert right here was sliding back and forth. I was afraid I was going to lose it, so I put a little drop of crazy glue on there to hold that in. And this rear sight, how wild is this? The rear sight is normally just a fixed sight, but somebody filled that in. It's like kind of, and it's not the greatest looking fill either. Definitely kind of Mad Max-ish looking. And they put this this adjustable sight on here, which I was going to see how well this adjustable sight was adjustable, how it worked, how well, like being that it's all was filled like that, how well it holds its sight, how well it held being sighted in. And man, let me tell you, this thing was amazing. I took it to the range. I was putting the target as far down. I don't know how far that is. You can take a look when you see where the target was, how far. I'm not good at that. What is it? Is that 30 yards, 25 yards, 30 yards? Who knows? But I could not miss with this thing. It just felt so perfect in my hands. It felt so accurate. The sights were so easy to see. It has the nice white surround on here, plus with that red like that. It was very nice sights. And the trigger was amazing, and we'll get to that. I definitely think there's something. See, I didn't want to open up a can of worms, but between that Model 70 and Model 80 thing, there's this whole thing about the trigger, and we'll show you. I'm going to take it apart, and we'll get in there, and I'll show you. But it shot awesome. It felt great, and the accuracy was amazing. All right, so yeah, let's just get back. Show you some more shooting stuff later, but let's just want to show you too that for $5 I got this holster. This is sick. This is this has got to be an expensive holster right here. And he just has a holster bin there. And I looked at it. You could just see. I just saw that this was like for $45. Look at how awesome a 1911 fits into this holster. It's so nice and snug. And this snap, such a positive snap. Look at that package right there. Really good for $5. It was really kicking ass that day. So yeah, $5 for that, and a really decent price on this because of its Frankensteined up condition. I did really well. And then this is, by the way, the third video in the hat trick series that went along with the other two, the shotguns that I got for on top. When I was buying this, he said, "Here, you're into these shotguns. $100 for the pair." I paid for the shotguns, which I thought was a great price, considering even that I had even gotten a little bit of money off on this one as well. So did well. Let's take it apart. Let's take it apart. So the old 1911, yep, I'm a big fan. I have a few different ones. There's some videos up there if you want to take a look. It's so hard to do anything on camera. It seems it's just always at a weird angle. And there's supposed to be a different barrel bushing up here, I think. I don't think it's supposed to be this regular barrel bushing. I just think what I'm reading, it's supposed to be that that other kind. I forget what they call it, but it wasn't. Maybe that's what goes along. Yeah, because it's the Ed Brown stuff. Yeah, of course. So this is all that, and whatever that other one was called, I forget. Where is it? Did I have it right here? This one I had it right here. Yeah, I do. Here's what I had. Is this 1911 Series 70 versus Series 80? Doesn't even matter. This was the article, so here. I don't want to go by not calling that the right thing. But this is a good article to read. So it's called a collet bushing. That's what the collet bushing looks like. And it's just a regular bushing. This collet bushing, I think I have this on my Delta Elite. Came with one of these. They say that they can break, you know, like, because it's just 4 tangs that one of them can break off. But I guess the jury's out on that. Who knows? You know, there's always going to be fans and people that support one thing over another. But this came with these aftermarket parts, so it is what it is. I had to, you know, I have to use what's given to me here. I mean, it's so amazing how any gun tuber will tell you, if you want to have trouble taking your gun apart, just do it during a video, and you'll have every problem under the sun. You never looked more inept than when you take a gun apart doing one of your videos. So here's that barrel. Here's this Ed Brown barrel. Nice. Yeah, I think this is quality stuff. And it has this short guide rod, but I'm not worried. After shooting this thing, I'm telling you right now, I am not worried. So the difference, what's the difference? Let's go all out here. Let's zoom in a little bit. Show you how we go all out with the 1911. We pop this up, we pop that out, we make sure we're controlling everything, we don't lose anything. We got our firing pin, we got our firing pin spring, and hiding right in here we have our, use wood for all this stuff, please. Don't start grabbing on anything with don't start grabbing on anything with forceps, with steel stuff. Just use wood. Got a couple of dowels here like this. They call it peg wood. Just use that, or plastic. Here's the extractor. This stuff looks all stock. Well, to deal with the 1911, here's the thing with the 1911. It has what's called an inertia firing pin. So I'm going to put the firing pin in here. Now, what an inertia firing pin is it's, all right, you know what? Let's just go, we went all out. Let's just start the reassembly. And on the reassembly, we could explain. There's the biggest difference between series 70 and series 80. We'll get to right now. So this, I want to make sure I do this right the first time, where I'm going to get a bunch of people laughing at me. Goes this way. Get that in there. Control. We make sure we don't lose anything. Okay, so if we look back here, let's zoom in again. Here's where the hammer hits the firing pin, right? Now, how far does it push the firing pin down? It only pushes the firing pin down that much when it hits it, right? Boom, flat. So if I go over here, and I'm going to push the firing pin flat from the back here, while you're watching the firing pin in the front. You ready? Here it goes. That's all the way. Do it again. You can see it moving, right? But that's all the way. And you're saying, wait a minute. It's not even sticking out of that hole. How is it hitting? How is it even hitting the round? How is it hitting the primer? Well, it hits it, and it's like inertia. So let's just say this dowel is the firing pin, right? When the hammer hits it, say it's sitting right here. When the hammer hits it, it doesn't just hit it and put it there. It doesn't just hit it and move it like that. It hits it against the spring. It goes like that. Understand what I'm saying? Like if you hit it, it would go. It moves. It uses the inertia of it overcoming the spring pressure to that's what makes it pop out and hit the firing pin. So theoretically, if you just took this and banged it hard enough, the firing pin has enough mass just all on its own to potentially move forward. I mean, it would move forward, but can it move forward enough? Could it hit the ground hard enough for that firing pin to come past its little exit right there and hit the primer and set off a round? That's where the whole study is all about. So like whether it's needed, whether it's not needed. They put a safety device in here. So I'm not going to take a whole gun apart. Here's my Taurus PT 1911. This is a good gun to show you. You see this doohickey right here? That plunger? Well, if you notice here, if I try to push this firing pin in here, it won't go. It hits resistance there and it won't go. This plunger has to be pressed down like that before the firing pin will go forward. How does that plunger get pushed down? When you pull the trigger, there's a mechanism in here that pushes a piece of metal up, that pushes that plunger. So what it makes it basically that no matter what happens, how it falls, how it drops, how it gets banged, whatever, that firing pin won't be able to inertia come forward because it's positively blocked by a pin. The only time that pin exposes the firing pin to be able to move forward with inertia is when the trigger is pulled and that piece of metal goes up. Now, adding something to the trigger, another job for the trigger to do, is what pissed off 1911 people. Is what makes the Series 70 guys the big fans. You know, so I have, this is Series 80, right? You just saw the button. The Delta Elite, right? The Colt Delta Elite, Series 80. So now, you know, whenever you're in a gun store and you're handed a 1911, you're going to open the slide and make sure it's not loaded, of course. And then you're going to look underneath here to see. Sometimes you'll see that hole with nothing in it, that it was a Series 80, but someone removed all the guts. And sometimes, like with the Daytonics, they say, so you wouldn't know. You say, hey, it's a Daytonics. What is it built on? This is built on the model, the 70, Series 70, right? And then, of course, this is old 1943 Remington Rand. You know what you're going to find there if it's stock, right? Is that it doesn't have it there either. And do those triggers on the Daytonics and the Rand feel different than the trigger on the PT 1911 and the Delta Elite? Yes, they do. They do. I'll tell you that they feel different. Does it feel worse? I don't know. I don't think so. I think it just feels different. But once it feels different, you can feel worse for one guy over another guy. There's going to be a preference, right? Once it's a difference, then there's a preference. That's how it works. Now I got to be really brave and put a 1911 together while doing a YouTube video. You have no idea. This is, as YouTubers have nightmares about this right here. Gun tubers. I'm pretty good with it, but I sit with my nose in my work. That's the thing about it. I would get really close, and when I do these videos, I feel like I'm a million miles away. And you know, everybody does the 1911s a little bit different. I do mine like this. So a lot of people do it different because they don't want to do the flip over. There's the flip over. Don't mind the flip over. Come on, make me look good. Make me look good. It's not making me look good. Could it be that? See, I know. I'm not surprised. I mean, I'm not surprised. How could I get upset about that? How could I think about editing or you know it's gonna happen. You know it's gonna happen. So just just roll with it. Just roll with it. Just bore the audience. Talk about something else. Oh, it's only gonna get worse. I can't even see what I'm doing. So this is the hat trick videos. What? Oh, the barrel bushing's turning because I'm not holding it the way I normally hold it. There, that should be good. How is that not? How is that not going in there? Are you telling me that this whole video has to be done over again? Okay, good. Thank God. Boy, thank you. All right. So where were we? Wow, all of that for an anticlimactic ending now because I don't really think I got much more. I know I forgot something. Look at the safety on it, huh? And this slide release, trying to hit the slide release when the slide's closed. This slide release is awesome. It's like, you know that there's these ones, sometimes you gotta, and you're completely unergonomic. Like if you really had to use that thing, you actually just want to just reach over with this thumb when you're shooting and just use it because you're like, forget it, I can't do it. But this one, this is awesome. It's not like it's going to get triggered when you don't want it to. Kind of like what happened right there. But it really is just, it's not one of those ones that when you bang the gun, it falls. But very easy to just set it off. And so that's my Colt Combat Commander. I call it the Mad Max gun. This definitely looks like it would be something in Mad Max's toolbox. And I don't know, I could do some bluing back here to try to get rid of the... I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing anything. I'm leaving it just like that. The only thing I wanted to change is that, because that was bothering me. The color of the magazines. Plus, these Rugers, I really trust them. I went through all 5 of those. I put maybe about 500 rounds through this thing already. It was like a pile of 45 brass in a box just from the last few days. I want to know I can trust it 100%. Not one stovepipe. I mean, I think in the video here, there might have been once on the last round it didn't close fully or whatever. But this is, I went in, the gun was a little bit dirty. And I just did like a few rounds just with the camera just to get that out of the way. Because, I mean, if it's going to blow up or something's going to happen because the gun isn't a good gun, I definitely want to have that on film. You know what I mean? So the first couple of mags I go through are the ones I film. But then I took it apart at the range, watched a little TV, cleaned it a little. And then got back out there and really got serious with it. And wasn't doing the gentle squeeze till it goes off by surprise target shooting kind of stuff. I was doing like, setting up a target and going through 3 mags, full speed, rapid firing, like a, like a combat situation. Like you were in combat and you were the commander. There you go. I was combat commanding with it. And it definitely was working well in that respect. That's exactly what it was made for. And that's exactly what it was doing. And it felt awesome. And does it have a little bit more recoil because it's smaller? Yes. A little bit more muzzle flash? Yes. Is like, velocity of the round's going to suffer a little bit because the barrel is short? Yes. But is it the perfect size? To even a holster like this. See a holster like this? It's short. It's a short holster, not necessarily even made for a 1911, but it's like it covers the trigger, right? And it doesn't cover the mag release, so you could still, pop out a mag or whatever if it's in your holster. Doesn't really protect the sight on this one, but that with that thing bulging out like that, what's gonna protect that sight? And a little holster like this, look how it goes right to the end, but not beyond. This is like another perfect holster. This is like, turns it into a pocket gun. And that's why this holster is from this side. If I'm a righty, you clip that in your pocket. The whole holster goes in your pocket. You just clip that on the outside, and you make your pocket the holster. And when you draw, this stays in your pocket. You know, awesome. Yeah, this gun, it makes a really nice package. The size and how it functions. In my opinion, the Combat Commanders were the epitome. They moved into 1911 perfection, and that says a lot. That definitely says a lot. And that's the hat trick, ladies and gentlemen. We did it way before the weekend too. I'm proud. And doesn't do much for the views, because when you put the videos back to back, it's always like the latest one that people watch, and until one video kind of wanes down, you shouldn't really post the next if you're worried about, you know, how much attention the channel is getting. But I found out that if the likes are hit and commenting, but especially the likes and the subs, very important to YouTube recommending these videos. I'm noticing that through recommendations, I get like 80% of my views. So liking the videos is important. Get down there, like these videos. I might start mentioning it now. I never did, but now I kind of know why people on YouTube always did do that. I hate to shill, but there's even a thanks button now where you could donate. And I looked at it. It's pretty cool. It's $1 here, $1 there. I like to watch these video game streamers. I've been kicking them a few dollars here and there. Hey, listen, I'll make this promise to you. Anybody that donates $1 or $2, a couple of bucks, whatever, will all go right back into the channel. And I'm not talking about like pizza, you know, or something like that. I'm talking about it's going to pay for guns to use here, stuff to use, you know, like a new mat, better lighting, and a microphone, who knows, whatever. I promise you that any money donated will stay in the channel. And I might start mentioning that too soon. Don't think I'm shilling. It's just want to try to keep it alive. Channel's growing a little bit, and let's see where this goes. And thanks everybody for tuning in. Appreciate all the new subscribers and all the kind words in the comments. You guys are great. And don't worry, just because the hat trick is over, don't think I don't have some stuff ready to roll. Lots of stuff on the way. See you all later.